Greetings, I'm Dr. David Richardson, the Orchestra Director at the Gwinnett School of Mathematics, Science, and Technology. Today I'm going to walk you through the steps to register you or your student in charmsoffice.com. Charmsoffice.com is what we use at GSMST to communicate with all of our students and parents in the music department, as well as keep up with emergency information, any sort of payments that you would make to the music department and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before we do start, I want to remind you that if at any point during this video you feel like you've missed an instruction, feel free to rewind the video or fast forward if you feel like you've got everything down and move to the next section. You can pause the video, stop it, start it over, whatever you need to help you get through everything and enter the information correctly. Okay, first thing we're going to start with is in the upper right-hand corner. If you hover your mouse over this login button, you will see two options. The first one is for teachers and helpers, and the second is for parents, students, and members. You'll select the parents, students, members, and then enter our school code. Now, our school code is Gwinnett MST, as in Math, Science, Technology, Music. But if for some reason you can't remember that code and need to look it up, there is an option down here at the bottom. It's called Need School Code. You can go there, select our state, you can then select the city of our school, not your hometown, but our school, which is Lawrenceville, Georgia. And then you can select our school. And you'll notice there are several schools in Lawrenceville that do use this program. Here's our school, Gwinnett School of Math, Science, Tech, Music. Select that, and it shows you what our code is. When you click the Enter Parent Area button, it'll take you to one more screen that you need to click through, and then you simply hit the Enter Terms button, and you will go to the password screen. The only password that you need to be concerned with here is in the upper left. That's the student area password. We've created a dummy account so you can see all the steps that are needed. I'm going to enter that password, and if this is your first time entering Charms, the password will be your student ID number. Again, that's the Gwinnett County issued student ID number. If this is not your first time entering Charms, in other words, if you're a returning GSMST student, then you will have been prompted to change your password after the first time. And if you can't remember what you changed your password to, you'll have to contact one of the directors to reset the password to your student ID. So we're going to go ahead and approach this as if it's our first time entering. I'm going to enter my student ID. And then hit enter. And you'll notice again that we've been prompted to change the password, like I said just a minute ago. So the password again is the current student ID number, so I'm going to enter that again. Then enter a new password. My suggestion is make it something that you use for your passwords all the time. And then click the Change Password button. Now, this takes you to the Charms home screen, and you can see there are lots of different options here. Up at the top, you have various quick buttons that you can get to, and also drop-down menus that you can look at. But the one that we are concerned with most today is to update the student information. So down here, we're going to click Update Info. It will take you to this screen. Now, if you are a rising freshman, again, entering your information for the first time, you will notice that there are several things that have already been entered. That email address shouldn't be there. Several things that should already be entered for you. First name, middle initial if it was available, last name, your home address, and your phone number. Now, we've also taken the time to enter your gender and also your primary ensemble, which the directors can see. You won't actually be able to see that. So we're going to go in and start to enter other information that we need. And we're going to do that by starting at the very top of the screen. This is a uniform sizes button here at the top. We'll ask you to click that first. And then over here where it says t-shirt, we do have a GSMST music polo that every student is expected to purchase for $20. That's part of the registration. And that polo equates to a regular adult t-shirt size. So we're going to ask you to enter that size. For me, it would be a large. And then save that information. We do not need any of your other information here. We only need that t-shirt size. But it's very important to make sure that you hit the save button. And when you save it, you'll notice it told you that uniform sizes are updated, and then you can close that pop-up window. The next thing that we'll need from you is to get a little more information down here so we can contact you in a variety of ways. First of all, the cell phone that you're entering is for the student. So you'll notice this is John Doe here up at the top. That's our fake student name. And John's information is what we are entering right now. So we're going to put John's fake cell phone number in here. And then we're going to choose the cell carrier. The reason it's important to choose the carrier is because occasionally we do send text messages to students and parents, and we would like to make sure that the message is formatted correctly when you get it. So you can go through and choose your character. I'm just going to choose AT&T. And next we come to the email. Now, GSMST has its own student email available, and if you have that, go ahead and leave it there if it has already been entered. In other words, if you are a returning student, just leave your existing GSMST email there. If you are a new student, we are going to ask you to enter in your personal information. Again, this is the student's email, not the parents that we are putting in. So we're going to enter the email address, john@aware.com. And you can choose to select this or not as far as your personal instrument if you'd like to enter that information. Next, your birth date. We'd like you to go ahead and enter your birth date. We like to know the birthdays of our students. So I'm going to enter one in here. We'll say student was born on December 25th of 2000. Oops. You can type it in like I just did, or you can use the calendar option that's there for you, whichever is easiest. Again, the t-shirt size here, we want you to go ahead and enter that into that spot as well. And you'll notice that the primary group has already been selected for this student. The next bit of information is optional, and if you have any of this information, we do ask that you go ahead and enter it, and I will explain why. If we are ever on a trip and need to have a student go to the hospital, God forbid, for some sort of emergency, then we want to be able to get that student taken care of immediately. And it is helpful sometimes for a hospital to have the parent's insurance company and phone number, policy group and number, and any allergies or medical issues that a student might have, also any medications that a student might be currently taking. So if you do have insurance, we ask that you go ahead and enter this information. Again, this is just in case of an emergency. We do ask that you enter in the policy and group number. This information, again, will only be used in case of an emergency, and only if we have to have the student seen about immediately. Last but not least, any medical issues or allergies of which we should be aware, and any medications. So you have as many as 50 characters that you can enter. So we're going to enter a few things here. So you see, I can't type too much. You may have to get creative and find out how to make it the best way, to enter the information the best way. Current medication. We do not need any over-the-counter medication, so please don't feel it necessary to enter in things like aspirin or Tylenol or those sorts of things. All right, once you've entered in all of the information, you'll come back up to the top, and this is very important. Each time you enter in information on one of the screens, you will want to click the green update button. If you forget to click the green update button, all the information that you entered will be lost and you'll have to do it again. So we're going to go ahead and click update. And you'll notice it confirmed for us that the information was updated. The next step we're going to take is over here where it says add new adult. And what we're going to do is ask you to add several different adults into the CHARMS database. The first will obviously be the parent or parents. We ask you to enter in information for the parents who do have legal custody of the student. So you'll notice here you can copy dotted fields from the student. So if the last name, the home phone number, address, etc. are the same as the students, you can just go ahead and copy that information over. Really handy little feature to keep you from having to type a lot. So the first name I'm going to enter here would be, for example, a father's name. And then we certainly ask for a work phone number if there's one available in case there is some sort of emergency. Again, we will not contact you at your work unless there is some sort of emergency. And same thing for the cell phone. Once again, we want you to select the carrier, so any text messages we send would be formatted properly. And now we come to the right side of the screen. Over on the right side of the screen, we need to have at least one parent, and only the parent should answer these questions. Go through and select the buttons which you choose to answer these questions with affirmatively. So in other words, if you agree that you are the legal parent or guardian of the student, you'd click that. If you understand the GSMST Music Booster financial policies, you can click that. And by the way, that information can be found, I'll show you, on our website, www.gsmstmusic.com. You can go to the music website, go to the band, orchestra, or chorus tabs, and then where it says forms, select forms, and you'll have all of that information, including the financial policies down there, orchestra materials list, etc. Well, let's go back over to CHARMS. I will provide the class materials list, which I just showed you. I have read the GSMST Music Handbook and agree to its policies. My student may be given needed emergency medical attention. Again, this is only in case of an emergency. My student may travel on a teacher chaperone GSMST music trip. And my student's picture may appear on GSMST's music social media. If you do not want to check any of these boxes, please be aware that we will accommodate those requests, particularly for social media and the trips as much as possible. There is one trip that we do take at the middle of the school year. It's typically in February or March for our large group performance evaluation, where every student is required to attend. So if you choose not to check this box, you would be responsible for getting your child to the venue. As far as the others are concerned, regarding the financial policies, the materials list, and the handbook and its policies, etc., these do affect your child's performance in the classroom. So it's very important that we have all of these checked off at least. And then hopefully you're willing to check off the last two just for ease of use. All right, over here on the right-hand side of the screen, we ask you to choose your relationship to the student. So as I said, we're setting up a father, entering in an email address, a second one if it's available, occupation and skills. A lot of our parents choose not to enter this information, but we do ask that you include this because it helps our boosters to know who has an expertise in a particular area. We're always looking for volunteers to help out our boosters. So if you, for example, are an accountant, we ask that you enter that in, or whatever you do for a living. Your driver's license. This is optional. You do not have to enter that unless you choose to. It would just be another way for us to confirm you are who you say you are if we needed to do that. And your date of birth is also optional. All right, that's all the information for the first adult. And we'll come over here and remember to do our all-important update button. And then we're going to go through and add adults as emergency contacts for anyone else that is important to the student. So, for example, if we have mom, we would go ahead and enter mom's information, etc. And you just repeat that process for each adult. There is one important adult that we ask you to go ahead and enter. And again, this is only in case of an emergency. We're going to ask you to enter the information for your student's primary care physician. Again, this is if there was a medical emergency and we needed to contact the student's doctor to find out any medical history. So we are asking you to include that. I'll put a fake name in here. We ask you to include the office phone number. Oops. Cell phone, if you have it, but most doctors don't release that. Include the information. And over here, we ask that you put for relation, we ask that you mark this as other. Please do not enter the doctor's email because anytime we send out email contacts, it will contact every emergency contact that you put in. So any emergency contact that you enter that you don't want to receive our regular school emails, do not enter their email address into these boxes. Also, you don't have to enter occupation or skills. That's all taken care of. All right, once again, after you've done that, we've got to click the all-important update button. And once you've entered in all of the adults, that is all the registration information that we need to get your student entered in CHARMS and able to communicate with us. We do ask that you watch the next video, which is regarding the payment of fees on CHARMS.